Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pilot Talks by iScale Ventures, a 10-minute series where basically dive a bit deeper into what it really takes to launch and scale startup corporate pilots in the B2B space. My name is Tamás Szekér. I'm co-founder and managing partner of iScale Group, where we are currently also in the process of launching a venture fund to specifically financing pilot projects between corporates and innovative enterprises. And as part of our journey, we currently want to spotlight some insights from people that are really shaping the ecosystem: startup funders, corporate innovation leaders, investors, and also subject matter experts. And today I have the pleasure of being joined by Fernando Garrido, who is group leader of innovation and funding at Wien Energie based in Austria. Fernando, welcome on board, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. It is also an honor for me to be here and talk a little bit with you.
Absolutely. Fernando, just to start off, can you just give us a quick introduction into your role and also some of the innovation challenges that you are currently working on?
Sure. So as you have mentioned, I'm the group leader for innovation and funding at Wien Energie or Wien Energie. Wien Energie is the biggest regional energy provider in Austria. We do have more than 2 million customers currently. And in our innovation and funding team, we are responsible, for example, for the Innovation Challenge. The Innovation Challenge is a program in which we work with entrepreneur teams, so other employees at our company that want to move the company forward and to try new things. But another aspect that we also cover, and that's also very relevant for us, is that in the Innovation Challenge, we also have our startup collaboration. Right. So we are currently in the Innovation Challenge number 9. So we do have a little bit of experience with that already. And currently we have 3 challenges that we are working on. The first one being anti-icing for wind turbines, so that we can make sure that we don't have issues when the temperatures go below 0. The second one is an AI expert for us to be able to also provide information. For example, when we have projects and we have a lot of documentation standards and our project managers need to have this information to make decisions in the project, we want to find a solution, an AI tool, for example, that is able to learn depending on the questions that are asked. And the third topic that we have right now is a digital twin for our warehouses, so that we can improve the processes and see what new chances the technologies have, so that we can be more efficient in the process there.
Well, this seems like very, very exciting and super relevant topics that are currently pretty much highlighted nowadays. How do you see the role of pilots in your innovation strategy? As far as I know, these programs that you run pretty much focused on generating pilot projects, right? Like potential collaborations between startups and corporates. How do you place the pilot's role in your strategy?
So you're right. In the last few years, we have also always aimed to start around 2 to 3 projects each year with new startups for topics that are really relevant for us. And what that means for us as a corporate is that we want to identify technologies that were relevant and that may make the difference. But we want to test these technologies and to see what that can bring us as a company. So we do that by executing pilot projects, as you have mentioned. So we, after identifying potential startups, we work with them. For example, in the Innovation Challenge right now, we are in the scouting process. And around the end of July, we want to select a few startups and together with them, collaborate in thinking how a pilot project can work with us. So what is the scope, what we need to achieve in order to validate the solution for us, for our use cases. We do work together. Of course, we are experts in the internal teams to see what they need to see for us to make a decision if the solution is also relevant for us on the long term. So pilot project means for us to test a solution very often in a limited scope for us to then decide, is it relevant for us to escalate, and what are the next steps that we need to take.
But when it comes to pilots and, like POCs, there could also be some differences when it comes to stages, right? The stages of the startups or companies that you want to engage with. In your specific case, like how would you define the right stage of the companies that you want to basically collaborate with and test their solutions?
Yes, that's a good question. We tend to work with startups that have already a higher technology readiness level, because and that means to be more specific, companies that already have products on the market or services, and we try to find also companies that have already first customers at least.
Right.
And that is very important for us, because we in our team are no research institution, so we want to be able to execute and perform and see what it brings for us. Of course, we also have other teams inside our company, so we do have a research department, and they work with other companies that in our lower technology readiness level. But for us, it is very important, exactly, to see what we can execute and put in place.
Yeah, to have at least a working prototype, market-ready solutions, something that they can already show and test in a corporate environment, right? Yeah. Okay. And Fernando, I'm very interested because you mentioned that you've been already like running this challenge and several editions, right? Can you think of like one example that the pilot really delivered the right business results for Wien Energie?
Mm-hmm. Yes. We did have a few projects that were very relevant for us. The one that comes to mind when I talk about this topic was when we defined for startup scouting, it was reduction of CO2 emissions in our supply chain. So this was the topic that we decided for us. And we did have a few startups that were interested, and one of them is Kraken, with which we are working currently. They are based on the UK, and they the thing that they do is that they evaluate the CO2 emissions for early phase projects, but also in operation, so that we can decide which is the best possibility for a project. And this is particularly interesting if you have many options for the projects, and then you can see also what that means for sustainability. So we can see if we have another material, for example, or if we find a supplier in a different country, how that what that means for us also in CO2 emissions, for example. And we have been using that for the different projects, and also for, even for big projects inside our company. And I think it's very relevant for us to see new possibilities.
Yeah, can you share some insights on what made this collaboration on the pilot itself successful? Like, what were some of the factors that you recommend also corporate leaders and startups to consider and follow?
I think there are a few topics. Of course, it takes also a lot of participation from our experts in the company. So one of the topics one of the things that made a difference is that our colleagues were very interested in the solution and wanted to invest their time also to work with the startups to think what that can mean for us. But from the side of the startup, what I found really interesting is that they came to Vienna to discuss with the team, to think together with them what the possibilities could be, even to redo the pitch deck together with us, to think together with us how we can approach that for our use cases. And I think this openness that they have shown was very relevant for the project to be accepted.
It's basically kind of openness, commitment on both sides, right? Also on the corporate side, employees are, and also the people that are impacted or can be working with the startup are able to give their time as well, right, to deal with that. And also on the startup side, that have the willingness, have the commitment, go there in person, have in-person discussions, and be able to adapt.
Exactly. I think that's what made the difference. Yeah.
Right. of course, there are also many challenges could happen, right? And with a pilot itself. On the corporate side, personally, like what do you see some of the limitations or barriers that you faced in your career when it comes to launching and scaling pilot projects? If you can mention some Wien Energie related, that's awesome, or just some more like corporate related in general. That how do you see that corporates usually face various these challenges in this space?
Um, in our case, and talking specifically about venture clienting in the case, which is our approach, I think that the challenges need to be well aligned with the targets of the company. So what we want to achieve and with our strategy as well. Because I think everyone that works with innovation knows that innovation can also is of course a chance also for the companies, but it can also be seen sometimes as something that is additional on top. And
Mhm.
we need to align these activities in a way that it really brings a benefit for the company, so that we can convince, for example, our leadership in the organization why it would be a good idea for their employees to invest time in working with the startup. So
Right.
I think this first phase, very early in the process, to discuss with the departments, with leadership, and see what is necessary, what we need to achieve, but not only in this early phase, but what we really try to do during the process is to bring the stakeholders also during the project phase, so that they
Mhm.
can give their opinion, because I think this buy-in and this acceptance needs to be guaranteed, or at least we need to make a huge effort there for us to have better chances also in the future. And of course, this when I say it like that, it maybe it sounds easy, but this is an obstacle for us sometimes, and
Yeah.
we try to discuss with departments the best way we can, so that we can overcome that.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, that's absolutely a valid point. But I've also seen like when it comes to collaborating with startups and corporates, a lot was more like financing the pilot itself. Because usually, what I've seen, corporate has some limitations, and also on the startups when it comes to budget. But in your case, as I know that, so you have some budget allocated, right, on such collaborations on the pilots themselves.
Hmm. So in our case, as you have mentioned, we have a budget for pilot projects. Of course, we have a limitation on that because,
Yeah.
and I think that makes sense also for us, because yes, we need to invest a little bit of money to test out if the idea
Yeah.
is relevant for us or not. But we are also part of a concern, so of a group as a Wiener Stadtwerke, and they also have resources to support the projects in case this is needed or relevant.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great that corporate also has skin in the game when it comes to pilot projects. What happens if the pilot is usually like a bigger size when it comes to budget, like 200, even 300K?
If the pilot is bigger than what we have planned in the beginning, of course, then we need to think what that means
Yeah.
for financing. In some cases, we have thought that we it may come partially from us, but also together with our group, for example. So maybe we are also supported uh, from the Wiener Stadtwerke, so from our group. After, of course, we need to even to always show what this can be relevant then, not only for our company, but for the group then, in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's absolutely fine. So it's always some limitations, but then you have to think that, okay, so how can we top up that money itself? Any advice that you would have to startups that are looking to collaborate with corporates like Wien Energie, like how to run the pilot success? So you already mentioned the commitment and the openness and adaptability basically from the
Yeah.
startups, but is there anything else that you want to add to that?
What I see sometimes is that we get in contact with startups that seem that they have a lot of potential and that could be very relevant for us. And we organize a few pitch sessions and invite them as to pitch for us, for our experts. And I am aware that these startups pitch for a lot of corporates, for a lot of companies for a lot of investors. But in a few cases, I have observed that a few startups came to us and have pitched like they have learned that by heart. And I think it's so important to show this drive, even if it's maybe it's a lot, and they have a pitch after one after another. But this is something that we can really sense in a meeting.
Yeah.
And this was also a reason why we haven't worked with a few startups in the past that on the paper have looked so good, but they weren't able to transport that also in their presentations.
Yeah. You also have to see the passion in the eyes, right? So not just the everything looks good on the paper. Okay, Fernando, one final question. What's the best way to reach out to you, and how can the audience help you? People that are watching this podcast.
Yeah, people can contact me via LinkedIn and can also reach out to me. We are always looking for solutions that make our city, as a city of Vienna, climate neutral. So how we can really make a contribution in the direction of renewable energies. I am available if people also want to talk to me about my experience with corporates. Just reach out.
Awesome. Fernando, thank you very much for your insights, and also for the audience. If you are a corporate, exploring innovation challenges or startups navigating the first pilot project, feel free to follow us for further insights, since we are also looking to publish more episodes on pilots between corporates and startups. And yeah, if you want to reach out to Fernando, LinkedIn and other ways are the best ways. If you want to learn a bit more about the innovation challenges, so feel free to reach out to him. Fernando, thank you very much again for your insights, and also thank you very much for the attention, and see you next time.
Thank you.